if you're new around here, my name is Dina, aka Adventures with Fibro. I am a 40-year-old living downtown Toronto with fibromyalgia and PTSD, and we are picking up on my hike of the Inca Trail. This is a hike that I have been wanting to do for 20 years, ever since I was in college. And I finally did it. So here are days 3 and 4. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comments below if you've done the Inca Trail, if you've done any other epic adventures like this, if you have fibromyalgia, or if you have any comments. And please stick around for some bloopers at the end, as well as a special little surprise, or skip ahead. It's up to you. Anyways, here we go. Day 3 and day 4 of the iconic, phenomenal Inca Trail, ending with Machu Picchu. Day 3 is a lot of down. You have about 2.5 hours of up, and then you kind of traverse across the top of the Andes for a little bit. You do 2 mountain passes all the way to the up, that being the 2 hours of up taking you to the first pass, and then there's another pass that you have to go up. So it's just windy up and down some valleys. You get to the second pass, and then it's down. You're going down, and it's a lot of stairs. It's a lot of stairs, and it's a lot of down. But it was a good day. I would much rather go down than up any day, because there are a lot of ruins on day 3. Mauro went ahead with the rest of the group, and it feels weird saying it this way, but he gave me a porter. I had my own specific porter who hiked with me that day, and it was one of the girls. We had only had one female porter actually with us, and she hiked with me that entire day. So Marlene and I hiked together, and after about an hour of hiking, she actually took my bag from me as well. But she stuck closer to me than Mauro did. There were a couple of times she would kind of hang out behind me, and then she would go on ahead. At one point, I wasn't using one of my poles that much, so I gave her one of my poles. I really wanted her to know how much I appreciated her. I knew it was a much longer day for her than it should have been. She was carrying the weight that she would normally have been carrying anyways, plus she was going a lot slower because of me, and then she also grabbed my bag. And so I just really wanted her to know how much I appreciated her. So any chance I got, anytime we stopped, I'd give her some snacks that I had, or coca chews that I had, stuff like this. And she speaks Quechuan and Spanish, and I speak a little bit of Italian. So with my Italian and her Spanish, we were able to communicate a little bit. She speaks a tiny bit of English, but it was mostly Italian and Spanish going back and forth. And she was very, very sweet. She was a very, very sweet lady, and I'm really appreciative of her. It was actually a pretty spectacular morning because it had rained. While we were laying in our tents, waiting for morning to come, waiting for our morning wake up, it had rained a little bit. So as we were doing these initial 2 hours of up, the clouds just kept changing around us. And we were really in the cloud forest at that point. And they just kept moving and swirling. And I just wanted to stop and take so many pictures. And obviously you can only take so many pictures. You have to keep moving forward. But it was really spectacular. It was really, really spectacular. We had decided that I wasn't going to do anything extra that day, so I didn't go and explore and learn about the ruins, which was a little bit sad for me, but at the same time, I knew I needed to just get to camp safely. So everyone else kind of went and did the little bit of extra things, just a couple of treks off the trail, nothing too crazy, but I didn't partake in any of that. And that's one of the reasons why I want to get stronger and go back so I can really experience it all. But, I can read about it and learn about it, and I still got to see everything. I just didn't get to be in it, if that makes sense. One of the ruins that you come across on day 3, the very first one, is called Sayac Marca, and it's really beautiful. Mauro told me all about it because they were still there when I showed up, but I don't remember anything about it, but I will insert pictures, and it's gorgeous. I don't remember much about it, unfortunately. You keep heading up, and within that next hour, you actually pass 2 small lakes, which are quite beautiful. And then you get to the first pass of the day. There is an extra, you can actually hike up a little bit higher to get really spectacular views of both sides of the valley, but that was an extra thing that I wasn't gonna do. Then you start heading down, and eventually we got to our lunch spot, and I actually beat everyone else there, which was kind of fun, so I got to rest a little bit before we ate. So at this point, we're on the other side of this mountain, and we're actually seeing the Vilcabamba mountain range. You can also at this point see Mount Machu Picchu. So you can't see Machu Picchu, but you can see where you're heading, which is very, very cool. Okay, full disclosure, we're recording this on a second day. Both my camera and my ring light died, and so I just went, let's just go to bed and we'll get back at it tomorrow. So here we are, we're on day 3 of the Inca Trail. There's something going on with my eye. Let's not talk about it, it's fine. We're crossing the Andes and we're really just like kind of walking across ridges. There's some slight incline, slight downcline. We're going through a couple of tunnels. We get to the second pass of the day. It's the last pass, and we start heading down, and we're heading down and down and down, and we come across the next ruins, which are so beautiful, but it's a really long staircase to get up them, and I'm not doing anything extra today, so I don't get to explore them. But as we walk around them, hold on, what's the name? I believe this is Inti Pata, and I don't know the significance of it, but it is so beautiful what I'm able to see. So I walk around it, and as we're walking around, my lovely porter points out that there are wild llamas there. Now the llamas are protected because now we're in a national park, a national reserve. So they are protected and they're kind of monitored, but it was so cool. It brought such a smile to my face to see these wild llamas just hanging out. So cool. We keep heading down. We're going down so many steep stairs. And meanwhile, the porters, you guys, these guys and gals are absolutely incredible. They are running with these heavy, huge backpacks on. They're literally running down the stairs, and you can hear them coming behind you. So when you hear them starting to come behind you, you move over to the side so they can just powerhouse down these stairs. It's incredible. I wish I had got some of them on video because it's just incredible. They are running to beat everyone to camp and set everything up. It was absolutely incredible. We're going through a rainforest now at this point, and at one point a monkey actually started following us, but we didn't get film or video of it. But we could hear this monkey behind us following us. It was very cool. At one point on this day, I actually did fall, and I came very close, a little too close to falling off of the mountain, which is a thing that can happen. And it's a steep drop. And so my guide and I, my porter and I were a little shaken there for a second. I had a couple of tears and collected myself, and away we went. I try not to focus on what could have happened, but it was a bit of a scary moment. All that happened was I put a little bit too much weight on my pole and I leaned on it, and the pole collapsed underneath me, and so I fell forward. And it was a little scary. I really hugged the mountain after that moment. We kept going, and we ended up taking kind of like a dirt road into camp where everybody else, it's actually the kind of route that the porters take to get into camp. It's a little bit faster. Everyone else goes to it's a huge ruin. We could see it from where we were hiking, called Winewaina. Now I hope I'm saying that correctly, but it is quite stunning to see these incredible terraces that the Incas built into the side of the mountain so that they could grow crops and so that the llamas could graze and everything. As you're going around Peru, specifically in the Andes, you'll see these terraces that they carved into the sides of the mountains that people still use to this day. It's just incredible. So this is actually the second largest, besides Machu Picchu, it's the second largest set of ruins on the Inca Trail itself. And it was used as an agricultural center. Apparently there was a religious sector in it and an urban center in it. So there were houses and all of these terraces, and yeah, it's very impressive. The entire time I'm hiking, I'm going, how are we staying on the side of this mountain? Because this was a very steep mountain, and yet there we were. So we were staying just down the way from these very impressive ruins. That night, our incredible chef, I believe his name was Umberto, he baked us a cake. Now, it wasn't gluten-free, unfortunately. I couldn't have any, but like, I still don't know how he baked us this cake, but he baked us a cake. It was beautifully iced. It was incredible. Apparently it tasted quite good. And you guys, I cannot express to you how incredible the food was. And that night we had a little ceremony with all of our porters where we got to know a little bit more about them. were given all of their names of where they come from in Peru and a little bit about their families, and then we gave them their tips. It's customary to tip. Obviously, you're going to tip your porters and your guides, and specifically the chef. And yeah, it's a customary thing, and obviously you want to, right? So we had this little ceremony where we spoke with them and thanked them, and it was quite special. And then we headed off to bed because the next day we had a 3:30 a.m. wake up. This was our earliest day on the Inca Trail, and it was also our last day. It was also the shortest hiking day. So we had to get up at 3:30 a.m. and we're not given breakfast specifically on this day. We are given just a couple of snacks, and that's really it. We're warned the night before to just have as much ready as possible because unfortunately for the porters, the little tourist town of Aguas Calientes, which is the town at the bottom of the mountain, that if you want to go to Machu Picchu but not do the hike, you would take the train to Aguas Calientes and stay overnight there and then take a bus up to Machu Picchu to explore. There's only 2 local trains that go in and out throughout the day. One is very early in the morning and one's about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And so what all of the porters do is they pack everything up and then they literally sprint down the mountain. I know for a fact that one of our porters didn't make it because I saw him in town later and we kind of exchanged a little hello, but I felt pretty bad for him. So we got up early for them. We didn't have to get up at 3:30 for any other reason, because literally what happens is you get up at 3:30 so that the porters can run. This is why you have the ceremony the night before. We literally hiked not even 5 minutes and we ended up at a control gate. There are these control gates kind of throughout the hike as you're now in a national park. And this control gate will not let you pass through until 5:30. So everyone just sits there for 2 hours and hangs out. I'm not gonna name names, but one of our group was very grumpy about this. And that will always make me laugh. But we just hung out and waited and waited and waited and waited. The reason that they do this is because up until recently when they added this control gate in, people would leave and start hiking at like 3 or 4 a.m. and the trail, it takes about an hour and a half to get to the Sun Gate from this point, but the trail does get narrow at some points. And like I say, it is a sheer drop off the side of this cliff, and people were injured because people are just trying to run to get to the Sun Gate because everyone wants this iconic first shot of Machu Picchu. You don't see Machu Picchu on the trail until you get to the Sun Gate. And everyone just wants that iconic view, you know, and to see the sun coming through the gate and everything. So people just book it. My group included. It was very much like, we'll see you at the Sun Gate, and everyone just went. And I hiked the fastest I had hiked. And then of course you get to this very steep incline and you're just going up these stairs and up these stairs and up these stairs, but you're also seeing the sunrise and you can look down to see Aguas Calientes and the river, and it's really special. And I hiked quickly, yeah, but I also really wanted to enjoy it. And so of course I took some pictures, etc. But it was really beautiful. This is also the point on the trail where you have 50 stone stairs that are basically like that. They have to get up. They call it the Gringo Grinder or the OMG stairs. I was the only one there when I got there. There were definitely people still hiking behind me at that point. I know that for a fact. But I was the only one when I got there, so I didn't get any pictures or any video of it. But you basically, like, I like basically climbed these stairs to get to the top. You round a corner, there are more stairs, but I could see Mauro standing at the top of the Sun Gate waiting for me and watching. And he was like, Dina, you did it. I'm like, I did it. We got to the Sun Gate and waited. We had some food. We were just waiting with everyone else who had hiked that day to the Sun Gate. It's a pretty iconic moment, but the clouds were out and you couldn't see Machu Picchu, and I didn't want to wait. I didn't know what the next bit of trail looked like, and it was really important to me that I got to Machu Picchu with my group. so that we could get some shots together and everything. So I spoke with Mauro and decided that I would go on ahead. And there was one more little set of ruins beforehand, and we agreed that we would meet there. Mauro kept the rest of the group behind, waiting for the clouds to move, and they eventually did, and they got to see Machu Picchu from the sun gate. And in hindsight, I could have waited. If I do it again, I will wait, but I don't regret my decision because I had a pretty phenomenal first view of Machu Picchu myself from this other set of ruins, and had a little moment to myself where I cried because it was 20 years of wanting to see this site, and it was pretty spectacular. Once we reconnected, it was just basically a straight shot down the hill to Machu Picchu, and we got some phenomenal shots there. I want to tell you more historical facts about Machu Picchu, but I don't want to completely run my mouth because I don't know as much as I should know. Mauro told us a lot of really incredible information, and I will post so many pictures, but really there's so much to know about it. Like I said already, just the way that they set things up in the Incan world, let's say, is so incredible. Just the way that things are connected, and like from an astrological standpoint, and yeah, it's really an incredible feat what they were able to do. As we walked around these ruins, I mean, you know, it's on a fault line, and these houses haven't fallen down. Like, the fact that they were able to carve these rocks so pristinely and yet leave just enough room so that they don't fall if an earthquake hits. And the way that they knew to build like bigger rocks on the bottom, and then they kind of get a little bit smaller as you go up, you know, all of these things. I may have mentioned, I honestly don't remember. When Hiram Bingham went looking for it, he wasn't looking for Machu Picchu, he was looking for El Dorado, which has yet to be found. And he kind of stumbled across Machu Picchu, and the locals were using the terraces for farming and for their llamas and their livestock, but they wouldn't actually go into the city itself because it was considered sacred, and it was overgrown from the rainforest. I mean, you're in this rainforest, and it was just completely overgrown. You'll see in some of my pictures there's a green sheet because they're actually still excavating things. You'll see some llamas kind of in a courtyard area where there's just this one tree. Apparently under that tree they found a golden statue of a llama, and they put that tree there as kind of a special marker. The llamas aren't specifically native to Machu Picchu. They keep llamas there for us tourists, which is kind of cool. There are 3 different circuits you can do when you're in Machu Picchu. You can only go one way, so you can't backtrack at all. I don't remember off the top of my head which circuit we ended up doing. Yeah, I genuinely don't remember what circuit we ended up doing, but it was included in the price of the hike. So you can also opt to do a couple of extra excursions. At this point, I definitely did not want to. When I saw the crazy hike that is, what was it called? Huayana Picchu Mountain. It's insane. There's some pictures. You can see this crazy mountain with, hi baby, with some ruins at the top of it. And it's crazy, this climb, this hike. So we explored with Mauro. We were all quite tired and quite hungry at this point. I think if I went again, I would opt to spend the night in Aguas Calientes and then maybe go again the next day to Machu Picchu to explore. I am so glad I saw it, but I didn't retain any of the information. Like, he told us a lot about, you know, the 3 windows and about the temples and everything, but I remember very little. I've retained very little. So I'm actually reading a book right now called Turn Right at Machu Picchu, and it's kind of filling in some of the details. But yeah, absolutely incredible trip of a lifetime. I've wanted to see this forever, and I'm so thankful that I got to do this amazing experience. We then went down we took the bus down into Aguas Calientes, just switchbacks all the way down. had lunch with Mauro at a beautiful restaurant, and that's where we said goodbye to him. And we were able to leave our duffel bags there until we decided to head out. We actually had train tickets that were booked for 7 o'clock that night, so we still had a full day to explore. Aguas Calientes means hot water, and they actually do have hot springs there. I didn't take any pictures actually in the hot springs, but they were quite wonderful, and we did go and partake in them for a little bit, which was really nice. The not nice part of it was that they were at the opposite end of town and up a hill. That was kind of awful. Keeping in mind we'd been awake since 3:30, and like I hadn't slept the night before. I was up coughing the entire night, to the point where Mauro in the morning said, "I'm worried you have pneumonia." I didn't end up having pneumonia, thankfully, but like the cough was awful, and I kept him up all night too with my coughing. He was in a tent behind us, and I felt pretty bad about that. But yeah, he didn't complain. I just, you know, I felt badly about that. And then we explored a little bit, got some beverages and a little bit of food, and then headed to the train. We were on the train for about an hour and a half, and then we pulled into, I cannot say the name of this town to save my life, Ollantaytambo, which is a very, very cool city that I actually really want to go back to explore. I only saw it for about half an hour in the train station, not even. We literally got off the train, went to a bus, got on the bus, and headed back into Cusco. Now, we were told that we would be dropped off in the main square, and our hotel was only, you know, a 10-minute walk from there. It was a 10-minute walk uphill, which we weren't looking forward to, but that was okay. That's not where we got dropped off. To this day, I couldn't tell you where we got dropped off. Shannon thankfully knew where we were and was able to get us back, but like, I was toast. I was done. She even helped carry one of my bags, which was very, very sweet. Very sweet of her. And that was the Inca Trail. We had one day left in Cusco, but I'll talk about that when I talk about the next little portion of my trip where we go to the rainforest, because this is already way too long. So if you have any questions about like prices or want to know more about the guides that we used and the company that we used, I'm happy to answer any questions in the comments below, or you can find me on Instagram and DM me there. Thank you again so much for being here. This was such an incredible trip, and even though my luggage got stolen, it was a trip of a lifetime, and I'm so angry that I'm not still in Peru. It's over a month. I've been home for a month now, and I'm still upset that I'm not still in Peru. So I really loved it, and I really, really would like to go back. Thank you again for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell. It really does help me and my desire to reach 500 subscribers. Thank you so much for those of you who are here and who have stayed and who have watched through this whole thing. I'm gonna start putting some bloopers at the end, so lucky you'll get to see some bloops. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Make it a great day. I forgot to tell you guys, I got a tattoo today. This is my Inca Trail tattoo. I had wanted this tattoo in this place for a while, but after going through what I went through on the Inca Trail on the first day, where my mindset really, really negatively affected how I was doing on a physical standpoint, I knew that this tattoo needed to be a part of my life. So yeah, I got it done today by an incredible Ukrainian tattoo artist. If you're in Toronto, I'm happy to give you her contact. She was so affordable, and her fine line detail is incredible. So it's the quote by Edmund Hillary. If you don't know, Edmund Hillary is the first person to successfully climb Mount Everest with his Sherpa, what was his name, Tenzing Norgay. And what he said was the quote that really resonates me with, "It's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." So this is it. It's under the cover because it's healing, but this is it. And I love it. Thanks for watching. Bye. Sayak Mark. There's people in the hallway being loud. I think they heard me because they shut up. Oops. Anyways.